All right, back at it with the M06 Pro kit build. Now I am working on the front end, assembling together at the moment the front suspension arms. Okay, so this time, unlike with the rears, I'm going to remember that I have the titanium suspension pin kit that's included with this set, with the Pro set. And I'm going to use those. Just going to use an extra little thing over here on the side. I've got a video that I did some time ago, if you haven't seen it, RC kit building tips video, where I just talk about how I set up my workspace and why. So here's a quick tip for an easy way to put the first Eclip on a suspension pin or shock shaft, if you have one that uses those. Get it on part way, get a piece of wood. This is actually fake wood. It's you know, compressed fiber board or whatever, but with a little veneer over the top. But anything like that that's actually going to have the ability to be dented. Get something like that, not a hard material, not metal, and line it up so that the Eclip is down on the bottom, and you just hold on to the shaft itself and just make sure that the Eclip is centered on the bottom with the two prongs facing straight up. And then you can just put your finger over the whole thing, kind of massage it around, and click. There it goes. That was only one. There should be 2 clicks. There you go. There's the second click. And that just gets it on there very easily. The reason that I want to use something that's soft is that it'll actually hold it a little bit. It'll actually dent in and hold the Eclip and help prevent it from wanting to fly off on its own. You're not going to be able to do that for the other side, but you know, it takes half of the Eclip pain away. All right, this is an upper assembly for the front bulkhead kind of thing. I mean, it's multiple parts, so they're all going to fit together. There isn't a single bulkhead piece. There we go. You can see how that goes together. Got more turnbuckles here. Now with these little ones here, I actually don't use the grease trick 100%. I only use it halfway. These ones actually have a set screw. They're so small they have a set screw that you actually screw into one of them. So the end that goes in first, into the first ball end, I don't put grease on that. So it'll actually have more friction on it. I actually do put grease onto the end. After screwing that in, I put grease onto the free end, which I then put the second ball end over. And what that does is it puts more friction on the first one, so the one that's in there, so that as I'm tightening the new one, the second one on there, it's not continuing to tighten that set screw in there. It's more likely to slip over the threads that are being created inside of this second one. So that helps me to maintain an even amount of threading into each ball end. Now I'm on to assembling the steering column, and I've got some ball ends that are going to go into this trick aluminum tie rod or tie bar. Anytime you go metal into metal, I think it's a good thing to use a little bit of thread lock compound. They actually don't seem to specify it in the instructions, but keep that in mind. It doesn't hurt to put it in. Again, with these shoulder bolts, it's metal going into metal. So again, a little bit of thread lock. Now this is really nice. They give you ball bearings for the steering column, 4 of them, so that your front bell crank, your only bell cranks are going to rotate very nicely. Plus, they go over these aluminum posts on the Pro kit, which is even more trick. And which way does this go? It goes this way. There's that. Very nice. That truly feels pro. I mean, that feels like a race kit's suspension or steering column right there. Very, very nice. I like that a lot. These are going to get screwed down from the top, plus there are actually these braces that come into play, like so. and those actually key in part way, both onto the chassis and over the top of these posts, the steering posts. And 2 screws. Again, you've got 1 screw here that's going to be used on each that goes into metal into metal. So I'm going to put, there we go, just trying to get that to snap into place. I'm going to put Loctite thread lock compound on the screws that go into these rear holes, but not onto the fronts because those are just going into plastic. All right, now I'm putting together some of the outer suspension parts. Got your caster blocks and your steering knuckles, and there's some extensions up on the top for the camber links. The little stub axles, a little trick that I do for the stub axles, instead of putting the bearings into the knuckles, I put the first one actually like so over just the little axle itself, and then pull it into place. Just a little bit easier, I find, compared to trying to stuff it into the knuckle first. There we go. All right, there we go. Time to get these guys attached. I've got the completed knuckle and C-block assemblies here. Got all of my links set up, and now I've got my first Eclips put through, little titanium links, so I can start those. Come in from the back because it's easier to put the one on the front, and slide it through. There you go. And just get my last little E-clip. Hopefully this guy will go on without any major incident. All hooked up. You can see the servo is going to go farther back in the chassis. They didn't have any room up front because they want to allow the use of a standard sized battery. But there we go. Now it's time to build up some shocks.